Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another day of scrapping on a ship. I am working on cruise photos all month long, and this is the cruise that MK and I taught on in February. And I am also participating in May I Scraplift You. Today I was inspired by Scrappy Confessions, which is my friend JoJo, and I really liked her layout here. She's got several layers of either like washi or paper going on behind her photographs there. And so I'm going to start with this really wide washi from 49 & Market's Spectrum Sherbert collection. And I've got two photos. There are two 4x6s. One's vertical, one's horizontal. But I am going to kind of overlap the vertical one over the top of the horizontal one because there's a bunch of space in the right hand side of the horizontal one that really has no additional meaning or doesn't add to anything that is being shown or anything on this particular layout. So I'm going to go ahead and overlap it so it'll be a little bit narrower. And she does have a narrower photograph at the top and a wider one at the bottom, so it's kind of going to give it the same kind of feel, because the bottom portion will be wider than the top portion. So a little bit of an L shape going on top of a shelf here. So I did use a little bit of wood grain paper. I really like that. It's going to kind of warm everything up with the darker tones and kind of having a bit of a red base in that wood grain. And then I'm adding some yellow as well. MK's shirt in the photos is a peachy kind of color, and this yellow that I'm using is a buttery, almost a little bit to the orangey side of yellow. But I really like it, and I think it just plays nicely with the photos as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I am using my T-square ruler just to kind of align everything and get it all straight across the layout. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't want it to be at a diagonal or anything. So I'm using the other half of the washi tape. I just flipped it over so that the red is on the opposite side of the bottom piece that I put down, and the yellow is on the reverse side as well. So I'm liking how that's looking, and I'm kind of trying to figure out if I want to add more paper and where the top of the photos are, because I kind of wanted a little paper to stick out beyond the photo that is on the left hand side. I wanted paper up over the top of that. So I'm liking how that's looking, kind of just figuring out still what else I want to put on here. I thought maybe I'd use a branding strip, but I don't end up using that. Thinking about using this peach piece and just kind of playing with it and seeing how many pieces of paper I want to layer in there and if I want to add anything. So I decided I'm going to add a little bit of corrugated paper because that is the theme throughout this layout. Not really the theme, but it is something that we have carried throughout the layout along with the fibers that we chose to kind of make everything feel cohesive and have a central theme or element that kind of carries throughout just for that purpose. So I am going to tuck it underneath the wood grain here, and I also kind of felt like my washi was a little bit too wide at the bottom as well, so adding that corrugated piece kind of just made it a little bit narrower, and I'm really liking how it just kind of supports the photos there as well. Now I did go through a bunch of my rub-ons, and I have several from the Spectrum Sherbert collection left over. I actually have quite a pile of rub-ons left over from several collections, so I'm seeing what I can use with that. Now you might have noticed I had my tiny attacher out. In case you're wondering what I was doing there, is I cut one of the rub-ons off of this rub-on. So there were several on a sheet, and there's one that had a bit of stitching on it, and I just cut it apart from this one, and then I stapled it to its backer, so that way when I put it back in the packaging or in the stack, the backer will protect it and it won't just rub off onto a different piece. The stapler works great for that. That's a little trick I learned from my great friend Maureen, so thank you, Mo, for that. And then I just decided to pull in a bunch more rub-ons. I'm adding some pink, some orange. Because I've used that washi tape, I have a lot of leeway in what colors I can use. Now there's not a whole lot of orange in that, but there's a little bit of orange in the photos, and so I am going to go ahead and add a little bit of orange. It's kind of a peachy orange, and it's not super in your face bold, and so I thought that would work well. It plays nicely with MK's shirt as well, and the little signage thing that's on the table in front of where I'm sitting. So I'm going to go with it and just keep adding a bunch of rub-ons. So it's going to start looking a little bit like a mixed media layout, which I guess really, technically speaking, it is a mixed medium because rub-ons are not paper, but you know, it is what it is. I'm going to just go ahead and go with it. I really like the way that it's looking. I do like that these rub-ons that have this mixed media effect, you can just rub a portion of it on and move it around and rub it the other portion somewhere else because they're imperfect. It's not like it's a word and you're chopping your letter in half or something like that. I mean, there are words on there because there's a text print in it, but it's nothing that you're going to try. It's not like your title or anything. So those are a great way to add color in different areas on your layout, and I really like it. You can overlap them and it's not a problem. I am going to actually use one of the butterflies. You're not even going to know it was a butterfly by the time I'm all done with it because it is just going to be splotches of color here and there. Now the bottom butterfly I think was a little bit too bold to use just as, oh, maybe I am going to use that bottom one. One of the butterflies I don't end up using. Yeah, that's the one I don't end up using. Because it's a little bit, the lines were a little bit too pronounced, and so you could really tell that it was a butterfly that I was going to kind of chop apart. So I didn't use that one. But I put several on here. You can see it's kind of bringing in the colors from that bottom washi to different areas, and I really like the way that it's looking. And I know that JoJo has some mixed media on hers. I don't know that it is actually rub-ons, and that's okay. But I think by looking at her layout, you can see where my inspiration came from. My embellishment clusters are going to be a little bit different than hers. I am going to have one up in that top area just because I felt like there was a lot of white space up there. And really, I'm okay with white space. And white space doesn't necessarily mean that it's has to be the color white. It just is a place for your eye to rest. But I felt like there was quite a bit of it and it didn't need to have as much. And so I decided to add a few things up at that top area just to kind of bring your eye across the page. And I'm really liking how it looks so far. I am going to use some really, really old thickers. They are the old burlap thickers. And my title of this is just going to be Boleros, which is the name of this restaurant that we were, or bar that we were at. And we were really only there long enough to take photos in the front end of this car. We didn't actually order drinks there. We didn't eat anything there. We didn't see any entertainment there. It was actually really a quiet moment. We had come back from our day over at the island and decided to just poke our nose in there. And it's actually right next door to Sorrento's. So Sorrento's is the pizza place. It is also where we would get our water refills at. You could get soda, you could get water, you could get pizza all day long if you wanted. And it was very tempting to order pizza all day long, or every time we went there. But I only had pizza once. Oh, maybe twice. I think we just had it as a snack when we came back one of the days, and then the other day it was like I just had a slice late at night. Midnight snack. And so anyway, they're not huge pieces or anything like that, but that is where the most accessible refill for water was. And so we would go get water every night before we go to bed. So we'd have some nice cold drinking water on our nightstands. So now I'm just using more from the 49 and Market Sunburst collection, pulling in lots of ephemera bits and pieces. I've been pulling in pieces from the Ultimate Page Kit, which comes with lots of ephemera as well as some, I think 4 or 5 sheets of paper. And then I'm also pulling in pieces from the embellishment cluster kit, and I also have some of the laser cut elements and the die cut elements. And so I've kind of mixed those up a bit here and there at this point, because once they're out of the carrier sheet for the laser cut elements, I don't try to stuff them back in the laser or in the carrier sheet and back into the packaging. It's just really difficult to do that. So I have a little bin that I've kind of like started putting things in, and at one point I end up taking everything out of the carrier sheets and putting them in the bin, because the carrier sheets have less and less in them, and they were just becoming more of a struggle to get into the packaging. So I thought it would just be easier to go and put them into a little bin where I can rifle through and dig and pull out what I thought I would want to use. And I'm really liking how this is coming together. I think it's looking really nice. Adding a little bit of greenery to soften everything up. I really like those organic lines that kind of, I don't know, they just add a bit of nature to it and make it feel more fresh. And I'm liking how that looks. I'm also liking the addition of these little wordy bits. 49 and Market has a lot of those wordy bits in their collections, and so I'm trying to use those wherever I can. And because these stickers are not very sticky, I am using a little liquid glue, a little bit of Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere them down. And I'm liking how that looks as well, because it the letters are just playing off of the color in that corrugated paper, and I think it looks nice together. So that makes me pretty happy. Just going to add a little bit up here at the top, trying to pull in all of the colors that I've got in the other embellishment areas. So a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, so and the lighter blue, not the bold blue. I didn't end up using the bold blue circular piece that I had auditioned. A little bit of yellow and a little bit of pink. And I'm really liking how that's coming together. I'm just trimming off the edge here so it's not hanging over. I do want to remind you that you can check out everyone else who's playing along with May I Scraplift You. The link for the playlist is down below. You can also check out what JoJo has over on her Instagram. So Scrappy Confessions, and she's got a lot of great inspiration. She's a very talented scrapbooker, and she's very fast too. So anyway, go and check her out. She's got a lot of good stuff on her Instagram for inspiration if you're looking for that sort of thing. And that is it, you guys. That is my layout, and I even managed to get a flamingo on there. We didn't see any flamingos, but that's okay. I really like the addition of it, and I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, I would love a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. As always, I will respond as quickly as I can. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to my channel. I would really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to check out what MK's got over on her channel. I'm not sure if she's got a video up for today or not, but go and check her out and give her a little love, and give Crystal a little love for putting this series together. You can find her at Pineapple Papers, both on Instagram and on YouTube. So give her a little bit of love also. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.